Hello!
Welcome to the Gallifrey Gals Get Warped. We are watching our last, for now, original series Star Trek episode.
Yes, we are. And
I realized because we're shooting this, because we did the other ones, I had to be in a different location. And I was like, I actually have my original series pezzes that were gifted to me by our Gallifrey Gals Gremlin.
Was it? Oh, I didn't. Oh, that's so
Harry
awesome.
gave me these. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I remember now. Oh my God, they're so cute.
Let's see. They look, sort of. Oh, here's McCoy.
Oh, that definitely looks like McCoy. Yeah, that definitely.
Just imagine him being all like crazy on a weird drug.
Yeah. Definitely.
Remember when he phasered? That he just totally phasered that guy? And I was like, wait.
Do you remember when that guy phasered himself? That's what happened. He phasered himself.
Oh, that's right. That is what happened.
He fucking phasered himself.
It was too dark. I blocked that part from my memory. It was too dark.
Like, just this poor old homeless man was like, what does this thing do? Phasers and kills himself. Great.
This is a good, silly start to what we are watching today.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Trouble
today...
Tribbles.
Yeah, I'm really excited to watch this one. When they were working on this, they were like, the writers were like, it would be cool to like do something that's a little more of a comedy.
So all I want to say is, obviously this is our last one that we're watching right now before we jump into season 4, which, like, holy fucking shit, I'm so ready to jump into season 4. I know everyone was like, make Katrina wait, and some people were like, no, don't do that because we want to see the reaction. I did have to wait, not 6 months like the rest of you, but it's been at least 2 months.
It's been a little while. Yeah.
So last night I was talking to my partner and I was just like, tomorrow is a Star Trek day. And I was just like really fucking excited. And I was telling him about it. And I was like, And I was like, but we're starting off with a TOS episode first. And I was like, we're watching some episode called Trouble with Tribbles, whatever the hell that means. And I look back at the camera because we're video chatting and Alex is like, and I was like, what? And he was like, you're watching Trouble with Tribbles? And I was like, yes, you know it. And he was like, that's a really good episode, I'm very excited. And I was just like,
so funny.
What the fuck?
It's one that I feel like it's very like, if you're a Trekkie, to me, like, this episode. I feel like it's very memeified. They revisited this episode in Deep Space Nine. There's an episode called Trials and Tribulations, and it's really neat. This isn't spoiling anything. So Deep Space Nine has a lot of time travel in it.
Yes, you've mentioned
a lot of time travel.
Yeah.
And in one episode, they actually go back to this episode.
Crazy.
And they basically put the actors in. There are a few shots where they integrate them into the shots from this episode, and then they like reshot their own stuff and everything. But like it's really cool how they did it. It worked so well. But yeah, so it even comes up later in Deep Space Nine, but we're going to watch obviously the original one and a little bit of a Star Trek comedy take.
I'm so excited. I was already excited, but then last night when Alex was like, I'm very excited, I was like, I didn't even know you knew TOS like that. And he was like, oh, I know. And I was just like, okay.
There's a few things I'm very interested in how you'll react to them. And then just I'll tell you a little bit about some of the prop making at the end. So don't let me forget that I just have a few small, what I think are interesting facts about the props in this episode.
Cool.
Yeah, but I think now that I've spent a bunch of time showing off Pez dispensers, I think we should watch it.
Let's motherfucking do it.
Its trilling seems to have a tranquilizing effect on the human nervous system. Fortunately, of course, I am
not human.
Immune to its.
I'm immune to. Everyone's like, you, and it's like, oh, I mean.
Lieutenant, do you mind if I take one of these down to the lab and see what makes it tick?
You look so much better when you're not covered in.
But if you're going to dissect it, I don't want to
spots.
know about it.
The Enterprise.
We really do.
Oh.
That sagging,
You hot-headed
old
kid.
rust bucket is designed like a garbage scow.
Oh,
After
now he's
one
done for.
uses it.
Don't
That's
talk
why
shit
they're
about the
learning to speak
Enterprise.
Klingonese.
He's like, it's one thing to talk shit about our captain, but about the ship I'm engineer of.
Laddie,
Laddie.
don't you think you should rephrase that?
Oh.
You were supposed to prevent trouble, Mr. Scott.
Sorry, I caused it.
Who threw the first punch, Scotty?
I did, Captain.
You did, Mr. Scott? What caused it, Scotty?
The Klingons, is this off the record?
No, this is not off.
Is this off the record? No.
Well, Captain, Klingons, yes, they call the Enterprise a garbage scow. So,
Sir, so you understand.
I see. And that's when you hit the Klingon.
That's what pushed you over.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Anything.
Spock.
Excuse me, sir.
Shade, they're both throwing so much shade at each other.
Fucking shade. Kirk's like, get out of my captain's chair.
They give us love.
Yeah.
Yes, Captain.
I think of this project as very important. It is you I take lightly.
I am going to report for you to the proper authorities that you have given free
Snap.
and complete access to this station
My
to a
God.
man who is quite probably a Klingon agent.
Guard, is that door secure?
Yes, sir. Nothing could get in.
Good.
Except for
open.
Tribbles.
It's not working, sir. It seems to be stuck.
Oh my God.
So silly.
Kirk, I am going to hold you
Someone just
responsible.
threw one.
Thousands
They're
of them.
just,
Hundreds of thousands.
They're just like, a PA
they're
is
just
just
tossing
like,
them. Yeah, a PA is back there like, no.
That's assuming one Tribble, multiplying with an average litter of 10, producing a new generation every 12 hours over a period of 3 days.
No accounting for taste.
You know who they don't like? Your fucking buddy over here.
They don't like you, Mr. Darvin. I wonder why.
How could that be?
Let me just do a little scanny scan to see that you're a Klingon!
It is all wrong. I wonder what Starfleet Command will say about that. What about the green? Darvin, you don't talk?
I have nothing to say. All right, I poisoned the grain. Take them away.
And the Tribbles had nothing to do with it.
I don't know. I never saw one before in my life, and I hope I
You're
never
a
see one of those
liar.
fuzzy, miserable things.
And I don't want to interrupt this Mutual Admiration Society, but I'd like to know where the Tribbles are.
Yeah, just fucking tell me.
Spock.
Well, it was Mr. Scott who performed the actual engineering.
Oh my
Mr.
God.
Scott.
Someone own up to it. Where are the Tribbles?
Are the Tribbles.
Exactly.
I used the transporter, Captain.
Oh boy.
Oh my God.
Goodness. That was such a fun, good episode.
Wonder why Alice was so excited
Love
for me to see
that.
it.
Oh, man.
No wonder why. No wonder.
Oh boy.
Oh, Jesus.
So those Tribbles were in at first they were like, oh, maybe we should use real animals. And they were like, no, we should not use real
No.
animals. And Holly Sherman again comes up. Apparently she had whoever she was. I knew at one point, but I have completely forgotten. So y'all are gonna tell me, but she had a fuzzy keychain and they were like,
That's what it makes me think of.
they're like, should it be like this? And so they hired, her name's Jacqueline Kumer. I don't know if that's how you say her last name, but so she was the person who was hired to make them. They paid her $350, and she sewed 500 Tribbles. And that's what they had. I feel like that's not enough money.
That
for what
is
she made.
Not enough money.
I mean, back at then, $350 was more than it would be now, you know, from
Yeah,
inflation, but
still, that just doesn't. That's so many Tribbles.
so she made 500 of them. All of them were used in that scene where he's like surrounded by them. They keep like
Yeah.
getting chucked down.
Throwing
That was
them.
all of them. She made them out of like synthetic fur and foam rubber.
Yeah.
6 of them were able to walk,
Move.
and those are the ones that were used with the body of like the toy dog that I was saying apparently was so loud because they do the thing. I was like that they had to ADR over any dialogue in those scenes that use them.
Oh my god!
And then the ones
so
that kind of sit there
funny.
and breathe had little balloons in them that would like.
Oh my
and that's
god.
how they made those.
It's so funny because the whole time I was like, in the 90s and early 2000s, it was like really big to have like a little fluffy
fuzzy,
keychain.
yeah. It makes
and
me
that's
very
what
much
it made
think
me
of like
ooh.
Clueless.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
like or like the pins that
Yes.
had the little fuzzy ends on them.
Yes, totally. That is fucking brilliant. That
and
was
then
so fun.
the other thing, Klingons. So
Yeah,
Klingons
tell me
used to
about
look
that.
Very different.
They're
Obviously.
humanoid. Like it's
They
very
look
humanoid.
basically like people. And actually in the Deep Space Nine episode where they
Go back.
This is a little bit of a spoiler, but I'm not going to worry about it too much. Eventually, I think this is fine. This is a fine thing to say. And I'm sorry, everyone, if you're mad at me for saying this. Worf ends up on Deep Space Nine.
I already know that.
Okay, great.
I know that because literally if you scroll through, like if I go through Netflix,
you see him in like the
Netflix is like, do you want to watch this one and this one and this one and look at you see Worf in Deep Space Nine? And I'm like, all right, chill the fuck out.
Not immediately. It takes a couple of seasons for him to join the cast. But he is there in this episode where they go back and they have a moment where they're all like,
they look at Worf and then look
how
at
did that, those were Klingons? Why they used to be like that? And his response is basically like, it's a long story. And then that's it. That's how they like address it. I guess there's some idea of some evolutionary something but yeah, it's funny because they obviously changed the design for Klingons when they made Next Generation.
Like
it really had more money.
It's not like it was small changes either. It was like, oh no, we're going to add prosthetics, we are going to add like color change, we're going to make their uniform like that is like, that's wild to me because Worf is just so different.
They look very different. I'm
bonkers.
Actually seeing if I'm sure I could probably find yeah, so I guess originally it's interesting because they brought Chekhov on to be this Russian character because they're like, we really should have Russian in this because especially at the time you're like the space race and everything, like of course Russia in the future would have this highly developed space program as well. And there should be a Russian on the show. But I think originally the Klingons as the bad guys were sort of meant, and you could sort of feel it, I feel like in this portrayal, like to represent that kind of Cold War era fear of, because this is a period of time where now, if you watch stuff that has like a foreign, first I should clarify, speaking from a very American media standpoint.
Yes.
A lot of what is made now, if you're going to have like the terrorist bad guy, it's going to be probably like someone from the Middle East. Now, that's the stereotype. And I'm not saying that that's good. I'm just saying that's the stereotype. But then it used to be that Russians were that stereotype, that Cold War fear of communism thing. Russians were often the bad guys. I mean, just look at, oh my gosh. Die Hard. Just look at Die Hard. The terrorist bad guys in that were Russians. So
I was thinking of like Die Hard. I'm thinking of like old Bond movies.
Yeah.
Like it was definitely very like.
And so that, you know, this was obviously much earlier than Die Hard was made, but this was still that time where like the Cold War was kind of a thing. And I think the Klingons were meant to evoke more of that feeling. And then of course, over time, well, in Next Generation, they're not enemies anymore.
No.
And so it's really evolved into a different kind of portrayal in society. And it's interesting how much I'm just looking now, so everyone knows that like a little bit of the development of apparently also this says they were also a little bit of a metaphor for communist China. So just like kind of communism.
That's kind of the vibe I got from the Klingons the Klingons we saw
The
in this episode.
Klingons.
That kept throwing me off. I was like, what the fuck? But just like, I don't know.
I guess
it was
apparently they
just-
didn't like the name of it originally. I'm reading now, they were like, we don't really like the name Klingon. So it's like clinging. They're clinging on. Maybe that's why they had them say it Klingon.
Klingons. Interesting.
But they couldn't think of anything better, so they just left it.
That's hilarious. Just what a fun episode though. Like, it just was very light in the, sense of like, it obviously was meant to be more comedic. It was meant to be a little bit more like relaxed in the sense of no one was necessarily about to die, but
Yeah. So I'm still looking, and I know I spoke a lot before about Russians, but I think actually looking more into this, it seems like they more stylistically were leaning more into wanting them to feel more like, again, like communist China. And I just want to say that because I think I leaned a little heavily into the Russian metaphor at the beginning of the conversation, when really I think it was a little more less communist Russia, more communist China that they were going for with the characters. And at this time they didn't have the budget that Next Generation had to be able to do a lot of crazy prosthetics on these aliens. And that's why they were like, let's just give them like a goatee. But they're pretty human, so, but it's fascinating.
Like a little extra loop-de-loo on their sideburns.
Yeah, right.
Like a little extra curl there. Yeah, I would say that it definitely just makes sense that they were trying to really like hone in on that like communism aspect of it. Which makes sense.
This is also interesting. Sorry, one more thing. I'm learning as we go, so I'll just tell you this. So as we know from Next Generation, Romulans were also the big bad, and they were like, so we want to have something different. We don't want Romulans and Klingons to be our bad guys in Next Generation. We want so they created the Ferengi, and we know how that went. But I guess because the Romulans had more extensive makeup to make them look different, they were like, we can't actually afford to use them in that many episodes. And so they ended up switching over to making Klingons more of the main adversary, because it was so much easier to do them, because their makeup was like, we sort of darken their skin a little sometimes. They didn't really look like it in this episode, but sometimes they sort of like darken their skin and give them a goatee. Yeah. They're like, that's easy.
There you go.
And so they became, it's really, really interesting.
So wild to think of all the changes that went through TOS and TNG. Like,
well, many years, this show was on from in the 60s, and TNG was late, started in like, 88, 89, I think.
It was like
late
mid
80s,
to late 80s, right? Yeah. I love seeing the differences like that. I love seeing like where they've expanded from it. And what was I gonna say? And also just like, I love getting to see more of Spock, obviously, and like have a little bit better understanding of the Vulcans, because we don't see him that much in TNG. We see very few Vulcans so far in TNG. Someone threw shade at me, of course, on YouTube, because when we watched Sarek, I asked or said something about Romulans versus Vulcans, because how
could you know
how the fuck would I know?
You're new.
Someone was like, 3 seasons into TNG and she can't tell the difference between a Vulcan and a Romulan. And I was just
They've barely shown Vulcans and Romulans. We've had like 2 episodes with Romulans
in like
at this point, and like
granted,
1 episode with a Vulcan. Hush your mouth.
Hush, exactly. And granted, like, bless all of you out there, our followers who are so supportive, because like a bunch of people were like, yo, she's met them like 1 time. Can you get off her back? Like, It was just like,
Louise.
how am I supposed to know the difference? That's why I asked, because I want to know the difference.
That's dumb. Yeah,
Like,
you're new. They should be getting on
God.
to me about stuff like that.
Yeah, I was just like, Lord have mercy. But also, like,
I'm
why
like,
are you gonna
Romulans
sit
have
there?
big shoulder pads. That's how you
Yeah.
tell the difference.
That's how you know. But also, like, why would you have given me a bunch of info of them at this point? Because, like, I haven't needed it.
There's
you know,
no reason. Yeah.
So I was just like,
Like,
chill out, bro.
grab me some grace, y'all.
Like, I didn't know.
Figuring it out.
So yeah, it is awesome to see TOS and like get to like see Spock, and it's fun because now I'm seeing like where the correlation between Data and him are. Like they are very similar, obviously very different at the same time.
The way they cut him off too is so funny because Captain Kirk is always like cutting Spock off, and Picard does that with Data all the time. It's so
all
funny.
the time. And I really love Spock's like logical shade whenever he's like, it's the most logical thing to be this way. And it's just like, he's not wrong. What a fun episode. And I
that was such a blast.
I just love at the end there, no one wanted to own up to what happened to the Tribbles. And Captain Kirk is like, tell me where the fuck they are. And they were like, okay, fine. We sent them to the Klingons. And he's like,
it's funny that apparently there's one of 2 episodes considered a comedy in this season of the show, and I feel like they actually there was some issues with writing the script. I guess they went through a lot of revisions on the script, but I feel like it came out so well. I think it was genuinely really funny, and it's kind of a shame if they didn't do more of that. And I don't know because I haven't seen a lot of original series myself, but yeah,
I loved it. I
had such a good time watching this one.
I love when more like serious shows will like take a stab at the comedy. They're like, yeah, fuck it, let's have some fun. And it's like, yeah, do that more, because that was just so good. I loved all it. I loved all those little scenes. I love all the moments with Kirk. And the Tribbles where he was just like annoyed, but then he would still take one with him. He was like,
made a little squeaky noise every time. I loved it. Oh gosh.
I want a Tribble.
Yeah.
Oh, so good. That was fun.
Thank you, patrons, for voting on that episode as one we should watch. That was such a good time.
Worth it.
I think we will in the future. I don't know when. I'm not making any promises, but I would like to watch more original series together, I think. So hopefully we'll pick some more episodes at some point to watch. I think that would be really fun.
And if you want to partake in voting on cool things that we could watch, jump on over to our Patreon.
That's
and also catch full-length reactions
and be a part of our Discord community,
which is a lot of fun.
It's great. I haven't checked in on it in a few days because I've been having computer issues, but yeah.
All week, one of our patrons has been writing like little like jingles for leading up to like all of our episodes.
Oh my gosh, I need to go back. I need to get in the Discord again.
It's just so fucking good. Anyways, y'all.
Well, catch your Gallifrey gals next time. The next time you see us, we'll probably be watching season 4 of Next Generation.
I just almost fucked up all of my makeup. I'm so ready. Yep, I'm ready. Okay, bye.
Why did we boldly watch what no noob has ever watched before? Bye, engaged, make it so.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. If you liked this video, go ahead and give it a little thumbs up, and if you want to be notified when we post new content, go ahead and subscribe to our channel and hit that little bell in the corner.